Welcome on in to the Ultimate Browns. This is going to be a good show, man. We ain't even going to do a lot of moving around and shaking. We ain't even going to have no graphics like that. We ain't got no clips. We about to just get right to it. We're going to let you know why is so many people fixated on Shedeur Sanders fans. When you turn on the television, when you go on Twitter, it's this conversation back and forth about how come we can't stand these folks and they can't stand us. They're not real Browns fans. The media members is out here moving around. They spooky. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't never say nothing about Shedeur Sanders because if I say something about him, their guy's going to jump all over me. It's going to be crazy. Guys, listen, I'm going to break this down. Let me break it down for you. Because everybody is taking an L on this situation. No one understands it, but it's very simple for me. It's very simple. And let me go ahead and break it down to you. So if you're a Shedeur fan, pull up. If you're a person that don't understand Shedeur fans, pull up. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan that don't get either side, pull up. Because G. Bush is going to break this down, and it's exclusive right here on the Ultimate Browns. Welcome on into the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's your boy G. Bush right here at the Ultimate Browns. We got a great show planned for you as always. I'm enthusiastic about this because Shedeur Sanders threw for a bunch of yards. He was historic. He did his thing. And now all we can talk about is the two factions of the Cleveland Browns fan base. One group that is the Shedeurians or the Shedeur fans, and then there's other group that believe that they're the real Browns fans that just want them to pipe down a little bit. You guys have been missing a boat. Nobody in the industry has really broke this down the way I'm going to break it down. Please pull up, and so we can get to that. We'll talk about that here in a second. Kevin Stefanski, can we stop making excuses for him? Media, it's time. It's time. I get it. I understand. You want to be professional. It's time to stop making excuses for him. We talk about the Shedeur fans, bro, but y'all Kevin Stefanski supporters, y'all cats been doing this for 6 years. It's time to stop. We'll talk about that coming up. It's not just that this is a one-hit wonder. Sean King came on the show today. Thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. He said what I've been thinking about since the game happened. Cleveland Browns need to build around Shedeur Sanders in 2026. I'll give you the reasons, the details, and why you should be excited that the Cleveland Browns are building around Shedeur Sanders, and that's what you should be hoping for if you want to see the Browns be good quicker than later. But first, let's start with this. Media members is crashing out all over the industry. People is fainting. Guys is taking L's left and right. People is emotional. They can't even give their takes without thinking about the Shedeur fans. The first thing they got to say is, okay, well, let me just say this. You pre-qualify and everything. I'm like, bro, y'all scared in these streets? My goodness, sir. For a bunch of alpha males, we are all supposedly alpha males, right? We got a lot of people that be emotional. Look at them, emotional. Why are you emotional? I don't understand why this energy is out there for the pushback of Shedeur fans. And I'm starting to question, is this your first battle? Is this your first meaningful pushback? Because I can only help but think about this. I said this on UCSS. People's like, oh my gosh, you're throwing on the race word. They're throwing race around. Oh my gosh, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. And I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about every major platform, big platforms, all of them. I ain't talking about nobody specific, but I'm talking about a lot of people. This is the conversation is, well, you can't say this because they going to get on you about this and they going to say you about this and they going to get you. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know what game y'all been in, but the person I am is G. Bush. I've been delivering takes that I stand on that wasn't comfortable. You got to understand why I think this is like kind of like laughable to me is because I've had takes in the past that could have got me up out of here. I was running around here telling people, talking about, how dare you talk about kneeling for the flag? I was out there when it wasn't even cool to talk about kneeling. When everybody on the other side of the spectrum was like, if you kneeling, when I'm talking about big time articles and stuff. That was this guy. Go back and check the analogs. I said, bro, you ain't got no right to tell me what I can kneel for or not kneel for. Bro, you don't know no monopoly on democracy. What you talking about? I do what I want to. That was me when it was counting. when it was about something. Y'all got to understand, y'all getting a little pushback now, and it ain't even about nothing. It ain't even about nothing. When Tim Tebow was coming out here doing what he was doing, people was arguing back and forth about religion, your eternal resting place. This is Shedeur Sanders. He ain't talking about none of that. So we ain't talking about police brutality. We ain't talking about kneeling for the flag. We're not talking about George Floyd. We're not even talking about religion here. This is Shedeur Sanders and why he fell to the 5th round and why people like him. But I done had comments on all, like I done had whole shows on that, right? So you people are out here melting. You can't take the heat. This is a sports take. Do you talk about people that support somebody? Like, this is wild, bro. People be getting in their feelings and backs. And just think about this. Coming from all these writers, these the same people that was in their bag a couple of years ago because of a pop star. You was mad because Taylor Swift was on TV too much? See, this is the problem I be having with y'all. Like, we got all these people that like to be acting like they so tough, they stand on business. I don't care, my opinion is this. Listen, it worked well for you when your opinion is hitting, but when your opinion ain't hitting or you look like you might have been wrong on something, all of a sudden, everybody the victim now. Let me just tell you exactly, like I'm just put this out here. You know how many names I was called when in the height of kneeling, I said, bro, they out here trying to blackball Colin Kaepernick. Do you understand what type of energy I got for that? Let's just keep it going. I said, I laugh when people talk about race all the time. Guess what? When people talk about race, I laugh and joke because I got called racist because I said Baker Mayfield at the end of his career wasn't playing well enough. And they said if he was a black quarterback, you'd have loved it. I said, well, go back and check my resume. I was one of the first ones jumping up and down when Baker was balling. I just got to keep it a buck. But then when Deshaun Watson came here and I said, hey, you might want to look at them allegations a little bit closer. Then all of a sudden, they was like, oh, well, you're racist again. You're only protecting Deshaun Watson because he's black. I said, but hold on, what about all the other? Remember when I brought up Duke lacrosse? That was 5, 6, 10 white guys from Duke, right? Remember Bauer? Remember I talked about him? I said, I talk about it all the time. I said, there's no way this man shouldn't be in the league. And he's white. But the reality of the situation is not about black or white guys. It's about this. When you got a strong take on something and you contra to what some people are saying, that's part of what the business is. It's part of people that are going to be, they're going to have people who support them, that ride or die for them, that are out there supporting the dude. Is this your first battle? I mean, because guys, you guys are looking like this might be your first. I mean, it's the first time people disagree with you. And this ain't even no big agreement. As I said before, I'm talking about allegations and assault charges. These is the type of joints that I'm doing. Like, I went with listen, you know how much hate me mail? People don't get this, man. I sat up there and called out owners, specific owners by name. People that work high places for the NFL. I told them they was out of pocket. Do you understand the level of scrutiny that you get from a high-powered league when you tell them that they've been bogus, that you were using racial norming to not pay people CTE money, and the fact that you don't be guaranteeing no contracts, and you need to start looking at the way y'all treating these players in terms of their money. That thing got almost 1 billion views or something. And boy, did my life change from that. Yeah, you got a lot of, oh, look at these 1 billion views, but you know how many emails I got? You know how many times I talked to the Players Association reps who had a problem with what I was saying? Do you know how many people behind the scenes said, who is this guy? Shut his mouth. So what I'm just eloquently and saying to you guys, listen, it's a lot of you running around here that's upset. acting like this is DEFCON 5 because people support Shedeur Sanders and thought he could play. And you're running around here melting? Melting? Do you know how many conversations I didn't have to have with folks at all types of levels about all types of different concepts? I told them, how dare you tell me I can't kneel for against the flag when every SEC school is still running around in the parking lots with Confederate flags at the Capitals? Listen, I literally had to go into meetings on my radio station like, boy, are you sure you want to go in there with that? I said, I stand by what I said. Who is this kid talking this spicy on here? I said before it was NIL, I said, listen, I'm not going to compare nothing to slavery because that is no atrocity is worse than that. But the way that NCAA is working, it sure is sharecropping. So I'm not just sitting here trying to act like, you guys, this is this and this and that. I'm sitting here telling you that it's verifiable documentation on when you in this game and you stand for something or you say something, it's part of the game. You'll never hear me say, well, you know what, I can't say that because Baker's group of the Baker bros gonna get on me. It is what it is. They rock with Baker, so be it, so be it. I ain't like at the end of the day, as the media, what we gotta do is we gotta realize something. We in a position. We make a good living. We don't do nothing. We ain't tackling nobody. We ain't working hard. We not digging ditches. I used to work on a garbage truck. I had a regular job until like 3 years ago. So nothing that nobody can talk about is tough. My grandfather worked in a factory. My grandmother had my grandmother never went past 5th grade. They came from the South and got married when she was 15 and he was 16 and came here and started working in these steel factories. Ain't nothing nobody can tell me on these internets gonna put me in a position where I feel like this is hard, bro. We talk for a living. And as long as we hear and everybody is claiming they alpha male and I learn how to stand on it then. Stand on it. Or go find a job doing hard work because this ain't hard. This is easy money. Now, that's just me trying to get everybody together so that we can get on the baseline and say, come on, guys, stop crying. Now, let's talk about this. You're missing the point. You are in the media. You have the ability to write, say what you want, and you have a platform. Understand this. Your platforms carry muscle. Your platforms carry weight. Your platforms carry the way people think about you, right? So when you sit here trying to play the victim, how you playing the victim and y'all got the pen? You got the narrative. Let me just tell you something. Let's not forget where we came from. Let's not forget how this thing moved along. Cleveland was here. They did what they did. They drafted Shedeur Sanders. But our problem was this. We do too much of listening to other people with not putting your own work and research in. Do you know why I don't have a problem with nobody Shedeur Sanders says or acts or says what he says? You know why? Because I watched Shedeur Sanders play since he was this high. So there's nothing a supporter of Shedeur Sanders could say that I don't already know myself, that I already didn't put my time in. Too many of us at the beginning of the conversation took the words for people that were anonymous sources. We took the words of these scouts. We took the words of everybody else. And you did not use your own mind. You didn't put the work in. You didn't check it out. When people come on the station and they say, why do you think that? I said, because I've been watching him play. I done broke the film down. I done seen it. Everything I talked about was the evaluation of which I saw. So the point number one is we got to start checking ourselves and start to think, hey guys, how's about instead of saying, I got a guy I trust, I don't got a guy I trust. I trust these two eyes in the work I'm going to put in. No disrespect to Dane Brugler or Kuiper or McShay or whoever it is. They're all great. They put the time and energy and effort into it. But I'm going to watch myself too. And I'm going to create my own. I tell people, the barbershop and what I do here on Ultimate Browns or wherever I'm at, my thing is you can disagree with me all you want. Guess what? I welcome that. I welcome that in my real life. I welcome that in my radio station. I always tell people, you go formulate your opinion. You do your homework. You tell me one dude that disagreed with G. Bush, and I cut him off. As long as you ain't being disrespectful, we can talk and have the conversation. The second thing is, we worried about too many other people and the outside stuff. You took the evaluation of Shedeur Sanders, and a lot of people that supported Shedeur Sanders, they wasn't sitting here trying to tell you. They weren't trying to sit here and tell you he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. What they were trying to tell you is, if you are going to have a competition, give the young man the opportunity like you gave everybody else. The problem with it is you were disingenuous. The Cleveland Browns were disingenuous about the thing from the beginning. And when you are disingenuous and people find out that you was capping and you wasn't keeping a buck, they're going to put you under the fire. They're not going to listen to what you're saying no more. They're going to say, oh, I see what we came in thinking you were going to be an honest arbiter. The problem with us is we don't hold the Cleveland Browns. And this is my favorite team. I got all the gear. We don't hold them accountable for what they say they're going to do. These new people coming in, they ain't with the Cleveland Browns from 1964. When you say it's going to be a 4-quarterback competition, and then you find out it ain't none of that above, of course they're going to be in their bag. And it's our fault for not holding Cleveland Browns accountable to it. And it's also our fault by not doing our homework and understanding and looking at it from their perspective and saying, you know what, the Browns is telling me this kid ain't ready. The Browns keep telling me that this kid is this. The Browns keep insinuating Dylan Gabriel's better. The Browns keep saying and insinuating, but you should have been questioning the Cleveland Browns in action where they were honest arbiters, or were they lying and capping? Because we know that they do it all the time. They did it with Deshaun Watson, capping. They do it all the time. They've never been honest about that. So you have to separate yourself. Stop sitting in front of the Cleveland Browns as if you're the human meat shield. And the Cleveland Browns is laughing all the way to the bank. They don't care nothing about that. They're going to do what they're going to do. So for me, as far as what I understand and what we all missing, and the big thing about the Shedeur Sanders situation was, there was a person based on his skill. Again, I don't know why y'all felt like where I'm from, we don't get starstruck. We got neighborhood superstars everywhere. We got people in our community, in our hood, that don't play nothing and do nothing, and they the top dude in the hood. Top dude. You thought that we was starstruck because of Shedeur Sanders? You missed the entire boat. We wasn't starstruck. We just thought he could play. Let that sink in. We and a lot of people thought Shedeur Sanders could play. And that is the game that we're talking about. It's playing. But we got caught in narrative. We got caught in story mode. We got caught in the intoxication of it's this and maybe he's this and he's not ready and all that good stuff. And when you have people, as I said on UCSS today, that insinuated and said that Dylan Gabriel playing, if Shedeur got the opportunity to play, he would play much worse. It is irrefutable. It is irrefutable. Sometimes you just got to really be a bigger person and a mature person and a person to kind of swallow your pride a little bit and say, you know what? I had an evaluation based on this. Turns out this dude came out and did this. I applaud him. Dude killed it. That's all it takes. You ain't got to say he about to be the greatest quarterback in the world, but what you can say is, for the energy that I kept it, for all of this stuff talking about he about to be this, it's going to be 10 times worse. What do you think people are going to do when every single analyst is continually to propagate the same things that are narrative-based, and then when he puts that performance up, and for 6 weeks, you talked about the Browns being the worst offense. For 6 weeks, we joked about them couldn't get 13 points. Before the game, how many yards did you think he throw for? 220 tops. When he throws for 365 and does something that nobody else does, it's going to look bad on you if you just don't admit it. It's okay. We are human beings. We ain't got a crystal ball all the time. I say it all the time. I use Carson Schlesinger as an example. When they drafted Carson Schlesinger, was G. Bush all on board? No, I'm like, who the heck is this? But as a human being, our problem as a country is when you get new information, the new deal is everybody double down. When you get new information, instead of you being a thinking, breathing human being that can pivot and move, you say, I'm going to double down because I don't like his supporters. If you wouldn't pay attention to the supporters and you weren't concentrating on the outside stuff, you would remember what G. Bush told you and continues to tell you, and has told you since the summer. What Shedeur Sanders does off the field is cool for likes and clicks, but what's going to keep him on the field and move his career forward is what you do between the white lines. And if you would just look at what he did between the white lines, you would have no problem saying anything. Actually, to be truthful, when I see them numbers, the outside people and what they say just disappears. You know why? Because what he did validated what my homework was. It validated what I thought about. And at this point, I'm not interested in telling you, I told you so, because I already knew so. I already seen that. The problem is when you run with what somebody else is telling you and you do not do your due diligence on it, there is a chance you end up taking somebody's word for it and run with it. And the person who started all this, Brian Dable, he got fired during the middle of the year. Maybe he shouldn't have been worried about what Shedeur Sanders was doing in his interview and worry about how he handles his quarterback in Jackson Dart. That's what happens when you start worried about narrative-based stuff. Worry about the stuff that really count. And for the Cleveland Browns, everybody should be hoping he's good. And when we get back, we'll talk about why they should be building around him in 26. That's the story we need to be getting on. Now, hopefully everybody understands the Shedeur thing. Guys, hey, it's going to be a couple of weeks where they said, I told you so. Guess what? Stop being in your feelings. They'll eventually get over it as soon as he comes and we continue to play. Because at the end of the day, this is not the end-all be-all. I want more than, again, I want the trophy. I want the Lombardi trophy. I want to get to the Super Bowl. I don't give a you-know-what about I told you so's. That type of stuff don't win me no football games. I don't care about fantasy football titles. I don't care about I told you so. Do you think that it gives me anything that I can say, you know what, so-and-so reporter or article was proven wrong? We don't get nothing for that. And while we run around here talking about that little light, petty stuff, we still ain't won no title since '89. You wake me up when we got the ball players and the team to do that. Other than that, stop telling me about people who support people. And guess what? I got a problem with I don't got a problem with Tim Tebow supporters. I don't got a problem with Taylor Swift. I don't got a problem with Elvis supporters. I don't got a problem with Trump supporters or Obama. You know what I want? It's the pursuit of greatness. And you know what dictates that? The field. When we get back, we'll talk about what they need to put around Shedeur Sanders and why they need to build around him on the field. Coming up next on the Ultimate Browns. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every single time. It's not just something you wrap, it's the way you share memories. Because Aura isn't your average picture frame, you can preload the frames with the photos before you gift it. So when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. Aura Frames is a great gift for all types of family members, whether it's your grandparents, your parents, or you're just a newlywed. Anyone who loves photos will love Aura Frames. Endless uploads of pictures and 30-second vibes throughout the Aura app. Add a personalized message right inside the frame so the gift feels thoughtful at the moment it's open. Packaging comes gift ready, no price tag, no wrapping needed. It's a huge win. It's a holiday gift that actually gets used, not forgotten in a drawer somewhere. For a limited time, save on a perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off of Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code locked on, LOCKEDON. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast. So order yours now and get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions will apply. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's your boy G Bush here, right back here with the Ultimate Browns. Let's get right back into this thing. The Cleveland Browns. The best thing that came out of this situation was to see the skill set that Shedeur Sanders put forward. And one of the things that I'm trying to figure out and trying to understand here is this. My grandmother always told me this when I was coming up. A bird in the hand is always worth two in the bush. Meaning that what you seeing in real time that you got is always going to be more valuable than what you project. You know, when you are in a position that the Cleveland Browns are in, and everybody wants to talk about franchise quarterbacks and whatever the case may be, the reality about franchise quarterbacks is we ain't seen one. Everybody want to talk about we have not had a sustained franchise quarterback here. So all of the talk about how you need to find one and what it looked like, we don't even know what that looks like. The second thing is we've gotten so tough into prognosticating mode and analyst mode that everybody is the next draft guru. We watch these draft blogs and then we start talking about, well, if you believe that he's a franchise guy, if you believe gravity don't exist and you jump off a building, it don't matter what the heck you believe. Laws is laws and physics is physics, my guy. The Cleveland Browns just saw a quarterback in the NFL, not college, the NFL. And let's be clear about this as well. At some point, we're going to have to stop moving and diminishing at every single point. That's another reason why y'all be getting touched up a little bit. I don't know why you wouldn't think you would be getting pushback, because I seriously remember, guys, when people would bring up how accurate Shedeur Sanders was, you would say that's college. When they say, hey, was Johnny Unitas Golden Arm winner? That's just college. You would then bring up how many stats of people in college were top in accuracy ratings and how none of them did anything in the pros, or how 500 yards against TCU really didn't count, or how 400 yards over here or 300 yards, that was college. It didn't matter. Okay. Throw that out. So you negated those things. But then this is irrefutable. The Rams game came around. All we talked about was the fact that he was running around getting sacked. You used that for months to say why he was not ready. Everybody came on and said it. It's verifiable. There's no way to run from it. Then he throws for these amounts of yards, right? He puts the yards up in a real game, in the snow, in his third start, while competing against the first overall pick and outplaying him. You get here to this point and you still disregard it. But you want to make people say, even though the performance of a college kid, and don't get me wrong, I like Mendoza. Some of y'all are a little higher on him than I am. I think he might be a good player in the league. But there's no way you can sit here and talk about 220 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, and you want to build this up to be the greatest spectacular game you've ever seen. But then a man in the NFL for your team against real NFL competition does things that no other quarterback, very few other quarterbacks in the history of the game have done as rookies. But you value lesser talent. I would say lesser talent. That's debatable for other people. I don't think he's as talented as Shedeur Sanders. But you validate lesser performances based on your affinity or your non or you're not seeing eye to eye with a fan base or his people or the guys that support him are annoying. First and foremost, man, I'm not bending and bolding and moving my stance based on my emotion level. That's why sometimes we get in trouble here, right? If you don't think people are going to push back on you, if you're going to have hot take, you're going to be hot take guy, learn to stand in the fire. It get hot in that fish grease. If that's how you feel, don't be hot take guy and then be mad when people push back. That's what the comment section is for. Guys, let me introduce you to the internet. I've been over here a long time, and I understand that if you come from radio or television, you can move away and you don't have to take the criticism. If you're on radio, you just don't take calls that day. And then you could talk all you want to yourself. Maybe you don't read your emails from work, from the show. You can produce it any way you want to. But if you're going to be part of this internet, the movement, this is what it is. This is what it counts. Because those people's opinion are what's driving your views, your interaction, the way they view your content. It's a new wave. So I get that it may be a little different, but understand, I'm just giving you a little heads up. It's okay. Embrace it. But if you look at Shedeur Sanders and you look what he did, and I think Sean King had a good conversation. He said, look, he's not going to play like with 360 yards from now on. He's not going to do that. He's going to throw interceptions. He's going to play with sacks. Another notion that we got is that he needs to be playing lights out for the Cleveland Browns to even think about drafting. First and foremost, stop. I always go to it. You didn't have the numbers that he had in college. But if you want to diminish that and say it ain't all equal, it's cool. But the one thing you can't compare is somebody that's doing it in real time right now versus somebody you projecting coming from college. And when you look at the production and you look, even Mary Kay came on today and said his progression from week 1 to week 3, he progressing every week. And it is at a rapid pace. From the pocket presence to the deep shots, to the placement of the football, to the way he rallies his team, to the way he's eliminating mistakes and eliminating sacks, and the way all of these things. This is only third start. So imagine if he continues to get that work in, put that work in, learn his teammates better, understand what we're going to do. The best thing for anybody, including people who maybe even not sold completely on Shedeur Sanders, is the fact that if you can fill some holes and you can get you a top flight receiver and you can get some protection and he can continue to get guys in their second year like Harold Fannin Jr., who's the best rookie tight end. He already broke the rookie record for tight end receiving yards. Shout out to Cam McKinley. Shout out to Bowling Green. Mac in the building. Quinshon Judkins is on pace for 1,000 yards. Carson Schwarzenegger's defensive rookie of the year. Shedeur Sanders just threw for, he just had a crazy day. Can you imagine? what you can do instead of us working against each other? What happens when we could come together and actually say, let's see what this man can do. Let's get the city behind him. Let's move and have everybody on one page. How's about letting a guy get the first team reps the whole offseason? How's about putting some receivers around the dude? How's about just us always coming together and figuring out, okay, let's put some energy. Let's put some confidence. Let's put the base around him. That's the thing that we need. For the last 6 years, we've been having this ain't the guy, this the guy, this ain't the guy, this ain't the guy, this the guy, this ain't the guy. So at some point, my hope is we one band, one sound. We get behind 12. We go get some pieces. We go with the youth movement and let's see how we rock out. And I said it before. He's the way you get out of it. Everybody talk about Deshaun Watson. To be truthful, he's the reason Deshaun Watson is workable. See, a lot of people don't be thinking, man. Like a lot of that noise and extra stuff be created in your own head. I still don't understand whatever. We just need to get rid of Deshaun Watson. Is that a bigger problem for the people in the media or the locker room? You think Shedeur Sanders got a problem with Deshaun Watson? Shedeur Sanders, he like, yo, he been big up. Why you think they got him in a mentorship role, right? See, it's a lot of people that's still moving on the allegations tip. A lot of people moving. Oh, they had to pay all these picks. If Shedeur Sanders is good, Deshaun Watson can sit right over there and be the backup quarterback. And ain't nobody got no problem with it. You know why? Because again, we got to get away from the narrative and get to what we talking about. We ain't got no problem with that. Deshaun Watson, he ain't been no issues. He ain't been in trouble. He ain't been to jail, whatever. He's in the locker room rehabbing and doing his thing. This necessitates and all this extra stuff about why he needs to disappear is completely fabricated based on your emotions. Because go poll the audience. Does the locker room have a problem with Deshaun Watson or just you? It's a question that you might want to ask. Because if Deshaun Watson gonna be on this roster and I got to pay him his guaranteed money, I'm not about to cut him and then hamper myself to put a good team on the field just so I can say he's gone. That ain't how business works. And I'm glad the Cleveland Browns came out and said, listen, let's keep it pushing. We talk about what's happening on this field. Speaking of, the guy they might want to make some decisions about, Kevin Stefanski. Can we get to this, people? I know y'all media, can you stop doing this with Kevin? Please stop making excuses for this. This is getting ridiculous. We'll tell you about what I'm salty about when we get back. You're listening to the fastest 30 minutes in all sports. It's your boy, G. Bush, with the Ultimate Browns. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get into the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making a late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when the first $5 bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel.com/UCSS to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes of sports. Your boy G. Bush right back here with the Ultimate Browns. We got to get to something. Y'all cats be messing around. Y'all be playing around. Y'all be talking about Shedeur fans, but y'all Kevin Stefanski capers. Y'all be Captain Kirk and Kevin Stefanski a little bit, man. This would be kind of funny. Now, I give Jonathan Peterlin a little credit for this one. Shout out to my guy. He called it out early. He said, if Shedeur Sanders comes out here and balls, watch what they try to say. That it's because of the Browns and the way they just put the infrastructure around him and the way that the Browns brought him along slowly. Stop. Let's stop you right there. Y'all would you please stop doing this? Kevin Stefanski told all of y'all, and you should be upset about this. He told every single one of y'all that Dillon Gabriel was better, more equipped, able to handle more, all the above, letter D. They had y'all cats out here writing some of the craziest, just most egregious stories of all time. And then they kept bringing it out there and kept repeating that after you started to see he wasn't even that. No disrespect to Dillon Gabriel, but in the words of Sean King, at no point in time has Dillon Gabriel ever been better than Shedeur Sanders, ever. Dillon Gabriel at no point in time was him. Now, I'm not begrudging him. If they take you in the third round, you cash all their checks, Dillon Gabriel. And if they're going to give you the opportunity, you go out there and make the most of it. Right? I ain't begrudging you. But to say that somehow Shedeur Sanders not playing, they can't even say his name for a long period of time. They seem like it was animosity, all that good stuff. For you to say now that's going to turn out to be the saving grace, it wasn't no saving grace. It wasn't no saving grace. They wasn't planning on playing him. They didn't want to play him. Kevin Stefanski chose the quarterback that he chose, and he chose wrong. And it turns out that his evaluation on the quarterback was incorrect. It's okay. You missed on it, bro. But instead of you actually coming around and say, you know what? If he would have been communicative and actually had some communication skill and hedged his bet and being a smart dude, he could have took credit for Shedeur Sanders too. But for some reason, it had energy where it felt like he was an outsider. And for everybody that's sitting here, like, guys, you got to stop this. You're trying to act like nobody could sense and like a level of tension in an organization. Like we all know that. But again, you keep going back what he keeps telling you, and you take it 1,000%, and then he don't even answer the questions y'all ask. So he give you all this information. He don't explain himself when you ask him questions in public. But behind the scenes, he just, oh, yeah, the Browns feel this way, and the Browns feel that way, and the Browns, I get the idea that the Browns, he's so far ahead. And then they got y'all out here looking crazy when he played, and you be like, this is what you saw? Shedeur wasn't. Now, all of a sudden, in 3 weeks, you trying to make it like, well, the Browns done put all the infrastructure around Shedeur, and it's what for them 3 weeks? He was in with Kevin Stefanski every week. You guys got to stop this. That's number one. That's number one. Number two, you guys got to stop with this. Listen, we can't keep having this conversation. I know y'all analytics people be really wanting to dive in deep and talk about what's going on, about how everybody in the league runs this, everybody does this, nobody would have been mad if it worked. Listen, let me just tell you something. This is the problem, and you got two different thought processes. There's football people, and then there's analytics. And with analytics, they believe if enough people say it, then it must be true. If enough fools do it, then it must be the right thing to do. Bro, you do the defense. You do the 2-point conversion play is ridiculous. And the reason it's ridiculous is people saying it could have been a touchdown. But why wasn't it a touchdown? Well, Quinshon Judkins ran the wrong play. Why would you put him in that position to run that play then? Well, we thought it would work. Did it work? No. Why didn't it work? Well, we had a miscommunication. I'm a defensive player by nature. Do I want to go against Quinshon Judkins in the backfield at Wild Dog? Or do I want to have to deal with Shedeur Sanders' run pass option, eluding the pressure, throwing the ball, and a guy who's already had 3 touchdowns, and I've seen him get in the end zone 3 times and 1 on the ground? I'm going to tell you which I'm worried about. There's only 2 things Quinshon Judkins can do. Either run the ball or throw it. I'm not worried about him throwing nothing. So you're going to run? Cool. Or you're going to flip it backwards? Whatever you're going to do. The reality of the situation is There are things in life that are stupid. They're dumb. People at NASA live their whole lives to say, shouldn't have probably done that. We want to make sure the sealant and the coolants and engineers who work on nuclear reactors try to figure out how to cool down the rod so there's not a nuclear meltdown. I think I'll listen to those people. But for the people that's sitting around here saying it looked like it was going to work, but it didn't work. It didn't work. And you took an L. And even if it did work, does that mean that it was a high probability or you should run that play in that circumstance? No, you shouldn't. Why are you blindly talking about what you should run? This is the problem with Kevin Stefanski, and this is the problem what we got when we commentate and we talk about this. If you guys are going to be mad and ticked off about the Shedeur Sanders fans, well, we need to be even equally mad about the media members that continue to carry water for Kevin Stefanski, and he's been doing this for 6 years. I don't understand how y'all game the game with Shedeur Sanders. If he don't play good tomorrow, he still only played 4 games, and you ready to get rid of him now. But let it be Kevin Stefanski. You want to do it how many years? This is 6 years. He just had an issue last week. With going for it on his own 20-yard line that cost him a touchdown in a crazy game, bringing a tight end in. And no matter how many times people say it, and I love the internet because the internet is undefeated. And there's a thing called the internet, and boys and girls, it's on record. You can say, none of us would be saying that if he scored. None of us would be saying that if we got that touchdown, it was going to be a bad play. I beg to differ. This one, G. Bush, has hated every single time. Please rewind the tape, dig it up, bring the receipts. Hey, I hated it every time he brought a tight end in the game and tried to sneak the football. I still hate it. I don't care if it works every time. Don't like it. Been clear about it. But one thing we got to be clear about is, look, sometimes you just got to call it what it is, man. Kevin Stefanski, that play right there it signified the beginning and end for Kevin. There's no coming back from it. It just goes to show you that Kevin will lose again. And think about it like this. I asked Bull the same question today. If that was Joe Burrow and it was a playoff game, what would you say? I said, don't say nothing. You would have blew your TV up. And I was right. If that was a playoff game, everybody and their mom would be running around losing it. The problem is, the scary part is, I think Kevin Stefanski even knows that. Are you checked out, Kev? Let me find out you checked out. You doing some? I don't know, man. I don't know. You let me know in the comment section. What is the upside of running Wild Dog, and would you have taken Shedeur Sanders out the football game? Put it in the comment section. We'll get to it. Well, with that being said, hopefully we cleared up a lot of things here. We talked about Shedeur fans. We talked about building in 26. We talked about Stefanski. With that being said, you never know how we show up, radio, television, internet. But if you want the fresh cut, you know where to find me. Have a good rest of your evening. And as always, like I always say, go Browns.